Hey everybody, it's Kaylee. I am back with another eBay listing video of sorts. You guys have told me some of the most helpful videos are the keywords videos, and some of you have specifically requested doing keywords about the eBay dropdowns. And so in today's video, we are going to be talking all about sleeve types. I know, are you excited for a whole video about sleeves? While knowing sleeve types can seem kind of mundane and boring, if you know every single sleeve type that is on the eBay dropdown, or if basically you just know every type of anything that's on an eBay dropdown, you are going to be 10 times faster at your listings because you're already going to know what you're going to click before you click the dropdown. And that is what makes people a super fast lister. So I want to do a series of these videos where we focus on the eBay dropdowns. That way you can become faster at listing. If you're only on Poshmark and you're not on eBay and you're thinking this video can't compute, it still can. Because knowing these sleeve types can make them very valuable keywords in your listings, no matter the platform you're selling on. So I'm gonna dive right in. We are actually going to go into an eBay draft and look at what the eBay dropdowns are, and then we're gonna go down those sleeve types one by one and figure out what they are, what the differences are. That way you'll be confident while you are listing.
Okay, so I'm quite literally just on my drafts page. I am going to open up a just random draft that we haven't really started yet, just have the shell of, and we are going to make sure we're filtered to the women's tops category, and I am just going to choose a drop down that I know you guys have all been asking about. This is the best way to learn, is quite literally as you're doing listings, pull a drop down. If you don't know what it means, open up a new tab and Google search. So one I know you guys have all been asking about is sleeve type. So we are going to do that today. So here are all of my options, and I'm just going to pick a couple of them. I'm not going to do them all today. I don't know. Should we do them all? We could do them all. I'll be quick though. So let's just start with asymmetrical sleeve. We're going to Google search asymmetrical sleeve. And you could, if you wanted, like look up the definition, but I find that the easiest thing to do is just go to Google Images. So here we have an asymmetrical sleeve. Okay, what does that mean? According to this, it means that it is a different type of sleeve. So it's not symmetrical to the other side. And you can kind of get an idea. So anything that basically the sleeve is causing it to not look the same as the other side. Something similar to this. All right, moving on. What's our next one? Okay, we are now on balloon sleeve. And this one is a very poofy towards the bottom sleeve. You can see it. There are a lot of really great examples. This is a perfect example of a balloon sleeve. Some people also call this a bishop sleeve. So if there was a term that you normally use, but it's not in the eBay dropdowns, there's probably, I guess, an exchange of one. And in my opinion, you should choose the drop down instead of typing in your own. So if you're someone you're like, that's a bishop sleeve, now you know that you could probably choose balloon sleeve instead. Okay, next up is bell sleeve. All right, and our bell sleeves are very fitted towards the half and then come out into a bell. This is going to be different than flare sleeves, so keep that in mind. So the bell sleeves are going to come fitted for part of the way down, and then towards the cuff they are going to form a flared bell. Cap sleeve. I just did this one the other day with our team. Cap sleeve, the best way I could describe it to you is if you're asking yourself, is this sleeveless or is it short sleeve? 9 times out of 10, it's cap sleeve. Oops, I didn't mean to click that. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be cap sleeve. So cap sleeve is, here's a great example of it. It's like almost in between short sleeve and sleeveless. It basically like creates a cap over your shoulder. So that's the best way I could describe it, is in between. Next up is casual sleeve. To be honest with you, this one's kind of a catch-all for me. So I'm not going to show you guys that one. I'm also not going to show you classic fitted sleeve. Those are just kind of catch-alls. Cold shoulder sleeve, I think everybody knows what this one is, but just in case you don't. Okay, your cold shoulder sleeve is going to have a cutout. Now, not to be confused with asymmetrical sleeve, because cold sleeve is going to be still symmetrical. So the same thing is happening on both sides. So you can see there is a little cutout on the shoulder, making your shoulders cold. So that is cold shoulder sleeve, and that is true for both short sleeve and long sleeve. All right, next up is going to be your dolman sleeve. All right, and dolman sleeve, at least the best way I can describe it, this is a good example right here. The best way that I can describe dolman sleeve is there is no like normal seam that comes to the armpit and then out. It kind of creates a like a half circle, and it comes out. So it creates this slouchy effect underneath of the arm here. Here's an example of a short sleeve one. So your silhouette comes out like this on both sides. Best way I can describe it, there is a couple of examples for you. Here's one. This would be a great image if you were creating something just for yourself that you could use as a dolman sleeve. All right, what's next? Flared sleeve. All right, so flared sleeve. See, this looks very similar to bell sleeve. I feel like it could go either way, but my understanding after a lot of research of this is that flare sleeve is different than bell sleeve because, and I know that it's showing you a bunch of different examples here, but your bell sleeve is more like this, where it's fitted and then comes out. After doing some research, my understanding is that flare sleeve is like way more exaggerated and comes up higher on the arm. I think it could go either way, bell sleeve or flare sleeve. What I would tell you is that if it is very exaggerated, like this one is right here, I would choose flare sleeve. If it is more down the arm and is just a little bit of a flare, then I would choose bell. Next is flutter sleeve. All right, so for flutter sleeve, I think that this is a great example to just show you the structure of it. This is almost similar to a cap sleeve, but it's not fitted and it flows out is the best way I can describe it. There's usually a lot more fabric on the shoulders than your regular shirt. Here's another good example, and it flutters away from the body. There's a lot more fabric which drapes down and causes the fluttered look. Here would be another example of like a shorter one, and this is cap sleeve-ish because it is kind of between the short sleeve and the sleeveless, but it's still fluttering out. It's not fitted, so if it were me and I had a sleeve like this, I would choose flutter sleeve over cap sleeve because you want to be thinking of what people are actually going to be searching. If someone's searching cap sleeve, they're more than likely looking for a fitted top, and if they're looking for a flutter sleeve, they're going to be looking for more of something like this. All right, we're getting towards the end. Kimono sleeve. All right, so your kimono sleeve is kind of close to dolman in the sense that it definitely does have that silhouette where it creates a half circle almost, but the difference is that it's not as slouchy. Usually with a dolman sleeve, it does this, but then it tapers in towards your wrist. With the kimono sleeve, it stays wide. So this is a wide sleeve. If you're seeing something that's a super wide sleeve, it's more than likely going to be kimono. Here's another good example of a kimono sleeve. You can see it doesn't taper as it comes towards the wrist. That would be a dolman sleeve. This stays a wide sleeve. That's going to be your kimono. Next is your puff sleeve. All right, your puff sleeves are very similar to your flutter sleeves. So I want to, I guess, tell you the difference by looking at these. So a puff sleeve is like a flutter sleeve where it's got a lot of fabric, but it always tapers and comes back close to the body to create the puff, whereas flutter sleeve is like an open, billowy, doesn't come back. Here's a good example. So we can see that it almost looks like a flutter sleeve, but it comes back in the form of an elastic to the body to create this little puff here. So very subtle differences in some of these, but definitely worth noting. So that is your puff sleeve. Here's another great example. And puff sleeve can be true for long sleeve as well. So here's a great example. Again, it tapers back towards the arm to create that puff, and that would be the difference. Next is going to be Raglan sleeve. All right, the best way to describe this, in my opinion, is a baseball shirt. And I think the technical definition is that there aren't, like, I don't know, the normal seam here. The seam kind of tapers in towards the neck and towards the chest, and there's usually a color difference. It looks like a baseball tee, so that is going to be the one I would choose for anything like that. Here's an example of a short sleeve raglan. You can see we still have the same structure there. 3 more. Roll tab sleeve. All right, your roll tab sleeves are going to essentially be adjustable sleeve lengths. Let me pull one up here. Okay, this is a great example. So they almost always have some sort of a tab that is underneath the fabric here so that you can wear it long sleeve, like you see this lady wearing, or you can pull that tab up and button it and fasten it to create a 3/4 length to possibly even, you know, a half sleeve or something like that. They're all different lengths, but basically it is a convertible shirt. Here's a more close-up example of what that looks like. But if you see a random button on the side of a sleeve, it's more than likely convertible. And roll tab sleeve is a great set of keywords to use to describe it. All right, slit sleeve. Guys, I feel like this one is pretty self-explanatory. But I could see how this could go between like cold shoulder. So I did want to explain the difference a little bit. So this one I would still consider more of a cold shoulder top, but it could also go slit sleeve. The difference would be cold shoulder is usually a lot more rounded. I would still consider this a cold shoulder, whereas slit sleeve is going to be more like this, where it comes further down the arm. Or like this. So I would choose, I love how somebody blocked that out. This is a perfect example of a slit sleeve, and you can see that it goes further down the arm. All right, guys, last one is strappy sleeve. Okay, I feel like this one is kind of a catch-all in a way because you could really go either way on this stuff. Like this could also be an asymmetrical sleeve as well, or it could be strappy. I would try to choose whatever you think the buyer is going to search for. In my opinion, this and this is what I would consider to be a strappy sleeve. When a buyer searches for a strappy sleeve, I think that this is probably what they are looking for. Even something like this, like lots and lots of straps, pretty exaggerated. So we've now gone through, at least in the women's category, men's might be slightly different, but in the women's category, we have gone through all of the sleeve types in the eBay dropdowns. Again, we went through almost all of these today. The only ones we didn't go through are casual sleeve and then the classic fitted sleeve. These are going to be more of catch-alls if they do not fit in one of these other categories. So if you can, if it's appropriate, I would choose one of the ones that we discussed today. If it does not fit, I would personally choose one of these two, just as a catch-all. But you never want to pick something if you're like halfway in the middle. If you're like, I don't really know if it's a cold shoulder, I don't really know if it's a dolman sleeve. If you're questioning it, if it's not very obvious, I would not choose it.
All right, guys, so that's it for sleeve types. Whole video about sleeve types. Never in my life thought I'd be making a video like this. Hope that you guys found it helpful. I know some of you guys specifically, like I said, requested sleeve types. If there are certain other item specifics that you're interested in, then drop them down in the comments below and I will try to prioritize that one in the next video. Hopefully this will be a series. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye. Wait. Pop quiz. What is the sleeve? What drop down would you pick for the sleeve type? Let me know.